There you go. Some of the lads down here was up there, they'll tell you themselves. It's a feather test. We brought a few pigeons here, and there's 5 fellas we elected to look after, like, maybe give demonstrations on the gloves and how to do drug testing. But Tom is going to show you here now, and any questions we'll go through with Tom. Okay, Tom?
Yep.
So you want to tell them first, Jimmy, you want to tell them first.
If you don't go to Ramdas, they have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we will get them now. We're going to get someone down from Ramdas, but Tom is going to give you exactly what he was taught by Ramdas.
Everything you need is in that kit. There's 2 for feather test, 2 float swabs, 2 pairs of gloves. That's one for Jimmy and one for me. You're not allowed to touch them with your bare hands. And the form that you fill in, that's the hard part. There's all the writing to do after that there. Everything comes in it, so you don't need that. And they come sealed, and they're pretty hard to open. If you get one and it's open, don't use it. Somebody's been at it, tampered with it, it's contaminated. So you have to open it here now, you know.
You have to show the fancher, you're going to show them that sealed box he's using.
Oh,
Show the fancher.
That's completely sealed. You can't get that open. You'll have to break the steel on it here. This one here is one, as I say, on the TV that I used earlier. So it's all in there, it'll come like that. So no problem. But on the sheet, if you go to Ramdas for the training, if ever selected to go and do the training, you produce a sheet like that there, and it shows you where you have to fill in all the different spots. And every time you fill in one of those sections, the fancier is going to be asked to sign it with all the information on it. It's all there. When you've done with that, that goes in the large envelope along with the samples. Right? So, I'll show you now how I do it. You shouldn't get any complaints. So you need the gloves on. Definitely you have to put them on.
I'll have to follow suit. This is only a demonstration. We'll go with a book.
I don't know how long it takes to open that. We have to run that stuff, like, you know. Open the gloves.
Can you all see underneath the wing of that pigeon there?
Yeah.
You see these big feathers here that cover the inside of the wing? If you pull any of those feathers out, you leave a big gap here, see like that? You leave a gap, and you don't want that. The pigeon needs them to fly. So what you do, you hold it there. You take the ones out, take those out of the way, and you take the ones in under here and then underneath. Like that. You need 6 of those on one side, and you pop them in there. Right? You seal that up. And you do the same with the other side. You want to see it again?
Try and, we have it on that. We have it on that camera there.
Okay.
That's where the pigeon thing so in front of you.
Got to pull this hair, come up here.
Should have done that. Put it on the there.
You never done that?
Now, I think you have to remember, you've got the approximate number of feathers in there. You'll have to take them. Some fellas put about 1 or 2 and put them in. If you drop that one, spill one on the ground, that's it gone. You can't lift it and put it in there. It's gone. It's contaminated. So you put them back in there. And if you like, if you haven't enough, you can take another one. You're all right. So then you go ahead with a throat swab. To me, doesn't take this one.
Turn that.
Now, when you put that in there, you have to put it right down to the bottom. And if you touch it like that, you'll feel it bounce a wee bit. If you put it to the wrong side, it'll go down its gullet either side. So you'll feel it. And you just give it a wee squirt around. Take it out. And it goes in there. And you do the same with this one. When you have that done, you have to fill in all the paperwork here, the date of birth, the owner of the pigeon, the colour, all the rest. It gives you all the information on there. Fill it in. You do that on the them.
Why do you have to do a swab test as well?
Huh?
Why have you to do a swab test as well if you've taken the feathers? The feathers.
Yeah, what I'm told by Randox, the feather test that'll show up in your hair, just like any drugs been used in the last 4 to 6 months, that'll show up in your feathers. The swab test will show up anything you've used in the last 24 hours.
Listen, lads, what they're doing out there, we're going to recommend that when the test has been done, we don't announce what day the club is going to do it. On the Saturday of the race, when all the clubs back in, we select one. Granta goes home, gets the pigeon, brings it back down to the club. Everything will be done within an hour of the result. Rather than wait the next day. For the boys in fact, not to treat the pigeons around when they're back in the race because this makes more positive and that won't stand.
Well, if you take a swab of the pigeons, as the gentleman there says, it takes 24 hours.
Yeah.
That means after 24 hours, there's no trace in regards to the swab. Well, that's what you're stating.
No, that's what I'm told. Don't be told me 24 hours. It could be 48 hours. It's just saying they told me 24
The
hours.
safest way is to do it is get it done as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
Right.
That's correct. Yeah. We usually do ours. We usually do ours either a Saturday and a Sunday, and this man brings them up to Randox on a Monday, and then they email me the report at the end of the week.
Alright, just leave the question at the end. That's what it is.
Sorry?
Now, what
Just like I'm doing the swab, when it goes down. What would you know how far it goes down from the beat? If this is a good one.
You'll feel it at the bottom, down about 3 to 4 inches, and you'll feel it at the bottom. You just tap it slightly on the top, you'll feel it bouncing.
lads, this is not over.
Soft.
Let's get the demonstration over.
Right, you've got the 2 samples. Fill in the one, like I say, you pop it in there. You fill in the paperwork and that, the name, the address, the time, the date. Pop it in there. And you close it up. Put the glue off. And you seal it now. The only way you'll open that there is by cutting it. It seals very, very tight. So what you have to do then is fill all this in. Time, date, and everything. Where you were, everything's on. The information of the fancier all goes in there. Paddy's just pointing out here that the pigeon that you have in your hand, you take the ring number of it and you ensure that it's the right pigeon that's getting tested and not one. You know,
somebody slipped you a ringer.
Yes, which has been done.
So that goes in the bag like that. Do the same, you put the 2 articles in here. Seal it up, fill in the paperwork, pop it in the bag. Then you get the form into the box. You fill it all in like it shows you there. The black letters tells you all, fill it in, time, date, everything. All has to be countersigned by the fancier. And you finish up, it asks you on it, have you been doing any treatments for canker or capsule or anything like that? And it's yes or no, you have to put it down. It doesn't do you any harm. It only lets them know what else is in the test. And fold it up, pop it in the box or in the bag, and seal it. And that's it. And you get the fancier to sign across the top of that there. And then you deliver it to Randox. That's it.
And the 2 samples, one non-lax will test one sample, and they'll put your one in a safe place, either a bank or a fridge, whatever it may be. And if there's any dispute, the fancier, the non-lax will hand that one they have back to the fancier, and he can go to anyone he wants to get it tested.
So you have to keep them in the refrigerator after you do it?
No, I don't think so. No. I'm thinking it would only be blood or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Now, hold on. Now, before you go now, hold on, Jim. Just before you, we have 5 men. Now, Henry shouldn't really be on because he's on the executive of the Irish Home Union. We're trying to get 1 or 2 of the 5 men be elected. Come up and try. Let Tom explain how to do a board. Get a board out of the basket there. So that be no harm in that. So, you know who you are. Throw over there and someone else, right? Now, and then we take all the questions you can, lads. We just want to get everything sorted out for us. Yeah. Someone else wants to go. What do you want? Okay. Look at lads. We don't need to close, but when you do the test. Also, lads, I think what we're going to have to do. Listen, lads. Whoa, listen, press that. Listen, lads, what we're going to do is, we're going to ask each club to get 1 fella for testing. We want to go with Randox down to make it official and get Randox to go over the whole lot with them again, because it has to be done with Randox, as Tom says. He's only showing what they showed him. We get Randox down to the north side of somewhere. And if you have a person elected, they come over and we go through it again with Randox. Is that okay, lads? So we just want to experiment here now. Get up. Okay now.
He has to have gloves, Steve.
Don't need
It's very hard.
Okay. any club here is showing you, I think it's only about 66 clubs, 70 clubs. The region is going to sponsor one test, and we'd like the club to sponsor your test. For all the results must go to Seamus Lahan. That's why, it's going to cost about 90 quid sterling. So if the region sponsors one, and the club sponsors one old board, one new board. It go a long way that everybody's on the same level playing field. And you won't be picking a fans here to test, you're picking a winning pigeon. It saves all the owners on the club, all the passes in the club. Say the week you decide to test it on that week, the winner gets tested. That's it. It's a random test, lads. That's what we're going to do. To the club. We didn't get every club 2 kits for 2 tests. Now if the club wants to do more than 2 tests, they can do 10 tests if they want to. There's no restrictions. We're just saying like we would like to try and get everybody to do 2 tests. The region will sponsor 1 test and the club sponsor another test. Now it was 100 something because there's only a few tests getting done, but we reckon we'll have 100 tests around that because the price is on the way. A lot go down a little bit more on that.
What happens if the country refuses to
if
make
it
the test?
is disqualified and he's brought us, you can't refuse it. It is a positive. Right.
Okay, Captain Howe and Eugene Hazel and Seamus are on the Secretary of the Irish Home Union Southern Region. And what we discussed the other night was that it can't be a ceremony thing. I mean, the majority of the guys, I was good guys here from the East Coast there, but it can't be just a ceremony thing. It has to be an Irish Home Union Southern Region thing, because we're an organisation that we're all competing in. So what we decided to do was to ask all clubs, we're going to try and get ratified as a rule next week at the Southern Region meeting next week. There's a region meeting on next Sunday. That all clubs will carry out a minimum of 2 tests. You can carry out 20 tests if you want, for a minimum of 2, and that will be random tests. That when it's decided by the club what week they're going to test, it can be totally random throughout the year. You draw from a hat or something. We'll try and work out something for next week. But you ask the member who you're going to test, who looks like winning the race that week, to go home and bring it back to the club. So we have 10 or 20 witnesses in the club when they're doing the test. The test is done in the club, then all the samples go back to Seamus Lahan, who send them off. Now the clubs are going to do their own tests also. But as Hannah said, all the results of all the tests should go back to Seamus Lahan. They shouldn't go to the clubs. We can't have a witch hunt going on because there's a mix-up of where the results should be sent. Everything should be sent back to one individual. Seamus Lahan is the ideal individual as the Secretary of the Region. So that's what we're proposing for next Sunday. Have a chat with your own delegates, but that's what we're proposing. Sorry, Thomas. No, it's going to be the winners of the clubs. No. So that's random again. Because no, but we think the best way to do what we said, 2 tests. The club wants to award 2 tests, they can do it random if they want to. But like, if you do the test that the region sponsor, they only get sponsored for 1. But let's make sure it's right. That's what each test costs.
The union is
they're holding on, but we're hoping to get it completely down because the combine, this town combine, just the Fed, ourselves, and I think Nippy's going to go in. Lads, you read a book this week. British Home Award, the RP, all the amalgamated district clubs in England want their birds tested. They know what's going on, and we know what's going on. I have to congratulate Fingers last year, because what Fingers done last year opened a lot of people's eyes. When I forward that, like, Fingers last year in Blackpool, abroad, it was Mick Gilligan and someone else. The 4 fellas there from 4 different long distance organisations in England. And they asked me, is there any difference in the result? And I caught Fingers who just gone by and said, ask them. And the results were different. Make no two ways about that. Everybody in this town knows something's going on. There's no one super over anybody else. Okay, big road to them.
Yeah, sorry. When I went up to Randex with the few lads and several fed 3 years ago, they suggested that we take the feathers around the leg area. So I'm just wondering, is there a reason that they actually shifted to the actual wing area, right?
No, that's just what we were told, that's the way to do it.
Right.
Must be bigger, I think.
Obviously,
right over there. How's right?
It was mentioned that if the fancier wasn't satisfied,
yeah.
On the scale of 10, how positive is
If the test comes back positive, then they have the option to have the reserve test, drug test, sent to an individual or an independent drug test company to make sure everything's fair.
Well, on the scale of 10, how positive is the test?
Randox, listen lads, I was up in Randox. They're a huge operation. It's not a backyard place. There's a couple of 100 people. They test athletes, test horses, test everything. They went to work, went to places where people work, drug test people, for drugs, anybody, employees, they're employed all over the place.
Sorry, when we were up in Randex again, like, they told us that the feather test was 100%. That's what they told us at the time. They said the drop-in test was open to questioning of cross-contamination and all that type of thing in the courts. But they said that once everything is done correct, they'll stand over that in the courts. And that's what they said.
When can we race them pigeons? What do you do to them on Monday? When we race the pigeons on
I don't know what's in the tanker treatment again. I want to find out what's in the treatment, lads. Listen, lads. We're going to put it out there, the British Home Board and the RP, stating to all Irish Home Union members, and also warning manufacturers in England and Europe, that it's illegal to supply any drugs for animals or birds. Parents licensed by the Department of Agriculture, 1. Where the content of the drug is on the actual box. Now he's buying these little boxes with nothing on them. That, give them that, give them that. The responsibility is on the fanciers to know what they're giving their birds.
Hank the wheels.
Sorry?
Hank the wheels.
Yeah.
There's no ingredients as to what's in that.
Well, I know Hank the Wheels has a list. He's got a list and he's.
It's not good him having a huge.
Hold on. He's listed that none of his products contain any banned substance. There's been 3 or 4 of the men that's been contacted over the last 4 days, and they've all said the same. These are suppliers. We will be putting in the ad that if suppliers supply stuff into Ireland and it's illegal, we will try and get them prosecuted by the Department of Agriculture. That's the way it's going to be.
Because we need to.
Oh yeah,
Usually, that is really asked to sponsor of the treated for anything.
oh yeah, I know that as well. Yeah.
They're going to have to say yes or no.
It's also on that questionnaire, as Paddy says, when you get the test done, you will be asked have you been treated in the last 5 days. You've got to notify them.
Listen guys, we discussed it the other night about when the test comes back. The Irish Home Union is not out to put anyone out pigeons. You know, we're all very conscious of that when we sat in bed about it, that we will do our utmost to make sure that we protect everybody. And we all know that you keep nothing fighting pigeons. When the result comes back, it's got to be in the hands of one individual until it's properly investigated. And that's why we're saying Seamus at hand. But, you know, we will be asking all the questions. We will try and talk to the fancier force before any results are made positive so that we're completely satisfied that we have everything, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And lots of people have asked me for advice on it, and my advice to people has been, if you haven't known you'd be doing that and to try and enhance your pigeon's performance, you know, the chances are you're not doing anything wrong. Let's not get paranoid about it. There's a list out there and we've all got to try and follow it to the best of our own ability.
But like lads, last year I was in the sign here and the fella came up to me and says, oh, the club wants this, they're using this stuff, using that. I said, what are you using that stuff for? He said, treat your pigeons. I said, what's wrong with your pigeons? Are you sick? He wouldn't answer me. I said, no. If you have sick pigeons, you shouldn't be raising them, lads. If you're treating your pigeons for something that's sick, you should be in the basket. That's the problem in this town. Sorry, go ahead.
Just where you're saying, the 4 months thing with the fella, you're saying there you do, if someone treats a pigeon that's sick,
yeah,
you shouldn't be raised. But in 2 months' time or 8 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time, pigeon is barren.
Yeah.
Well, that drug could already be in the system. Unknown to you, we can already use it this year.
But that's why the swab test is a backup to that.
They're not interested in that. I mean, if you're an athlete, there's no banned substance except testosterone or blood doping that you can do. And if you're sick, you're allowed to take treatment as long as it's prescribed by a vet or a doctor. So they're not interested in what happened when you were pairing them up, when you were getting them right for racing and so on. They're interested in the last bit of information that comes off the fella rather than the first bit of information. You know, so that's what they're interested in, and we as the executive committee will try and do the same.
If you're going to treat your pigeons, I would advise you to get a vet to do it and get the POM prescription from them, then you'll be safe.
Go ahead.
Has the suppliers been notified about this?
Now we're going to put an advert in the books. But look at lads, you know yourself, you can go to local suppliers and they give you all the shows in and they give you little grey box and stuff in it. But if you buy it, the onus is on you to find out what's in it. Does anybody else want to have a go at testing the fenders?
If you go to the pet shop, right, you get your medication, and once the label's on the same, what's in it, that's it.
That should be okay.
If you get some,
but it should be on the listen lads, it's all got a ban list. But every club's have a ban list. When you get a copy, give it to your members. I don't know, when the clubs, when they get very busy.
About that list, can you explain where the majority of that list is and what is it based on?
It's based on the South African. They were the only union actually in the world that coverage a banned substance.
So that's specifically for pigeons, is it?
Yeah.
What it is a list of products that are banned, but the generic name, it's like saying, you know, any particular name, there's 100 varieties of that in everyday products. So the list that I gave out at the Irish Home Union meeting had 26 pages of variants of what's in every document. You know, things like Nurofen and stuff like that there's banned substances in. But Tanos just told me that the FCI are bringing out a new list in the next 2 weeks also. So a more up-to-date list.
There's a meeting next week in the FCI. Come and look at that. It's all over Europe. When you read Brad Penny's article there a couple of months ago, he opened a can of worms. A lot of unions are afraid to tackle it. They are afraid. They're afraid to be brought to court. That's why you got to get the organisation who's going to do the test to back you in court, because if that goes wrong, they're responsible. Not us. That's why we go. Roundup is one of the tops. We find Roundup is no use this year. We go somewhere else next year. We keep it up. If you read the books, you know, I mean, this week it's in the books, lads. They all want drug testing. In Europe, there's a basket of pigeons tested last year and they're all up to rising drugs. The Belgians tested. They took a pannier, the man told me the British International Club told me, took one pannier off, test them off, really all drugs. Everyone. Use a buying these pigeons, lad. Use a pay big money for young ones off these things. Drugs. That's all it is. Any more questions, lads? Sorry?
Will there be named if they're caught?
Oh, once they're found guilty, they've been suspended. Any more questions, lads?
We just decap them.
Any more questions? Any more questions? lads. Sorry.
Eugene, where's the rule? Is there in the rule book on it?
Yeah, we have a rule. Drug testing in the rule book.
I've never seen it.
But the rule book, it's in a few years.
A few rule books, I've never seen about it.
Now it's in the rule
And
book.
I've never specified what's banned. I haven't seen it. Everybody here's talking about he's seen it. I've been picking down the love, I haven't seen it.
So new this past the 8.
Well, I haven't seen it, that's what I'm saying. You can't talk to the court. You don't go to court in front of the judge.
Listen, lads. We'll be going to all the clubs, be given a copy, instruction on the clubs to get a copy for their members. We can't do any more than that.
You have to make sure.
We can't put her in the tiles as we put there are.
Sorry, Eugene, you have to make sure everybody has a rule book, otherwise it won't stand up.
We have a rule book. We get printed for every member, and it says that it gives the club, the federation, convoy, or society power to drug test. Right? That's one of the rules. Now we've got a list this year, and we're sticking by the list. A lot of things are probably stupid, but we stick into the one list. If the IHU put a better list, we go with their better list. But like, at the moment, that's the way it is.
Well, can we make sure everybody has this list?
Well, all we can do is that we can't get the clubs. I mean, we give your club copy. Say they have 20 members present, get 20 copies done for the members. The onus is on the club. It's onus on the fans to ask the club. Sorry.
You list the week are all trying to hand over from you.
Hold on, wait.
What we don't want, before a copy, we call the club meeting, and every member of the club club signed for that list.
Yeah.
There's still, I know there's still about 4 members in our club that didn't get them. But you will get them when you come to that.
Yeah.
Every secretary should photocopy it and they can sign for it. That's what we did.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, should a list of pigeon products be produced that are banned?
That'd be a good idea. No, this is unreasonable.
I don't know what's bad. The people that use them probably didn't tell us, but they're going to tell us anything. Listen, lads, just finish, hold on. At the Federation meeting, 3 weeks, the third last Federation was that, and it was in Copperfield. I asked all the home units to give a list of banned substances. I can tell you one thing, the Scottish didn't know what the ban list was, the Welsh hadn't got it, the North of England hadn't got it. The York Bray said they had it, but they wouldn't show it to them.
To be fair, the members had used the stuff until you knew what it was.
No, that's what he said. That's the truth of God. That's the truth of God. So there you are. I can tell you one thing. The Irish Home Union is leading the way. We're way ahead of them. We're way ahead of them.
Last night on Pigeon Chat, I don't remember hearing on Pigeon Chat. One of the banned substances was recommended for respiratory, brohexane. Now, it's on that list as a banned substance. It's not on any other list except the list that was accepted by the Irish Home Union as brohexane. But I seen a product that has brohexane in it. There's 100 grams in the product. Of the 100 grams, only 40 grams were active substances, so 70 grams were mixing agents. And of the 30 grams that were in it, only 1 gram was brohexane. So in that whole product, only a third of a gram of 100 grams contained this banned substance. But it's still not banned in the UK. But it's been recommended. Somebody was asked a question about using Nasoline, and he said, well, the better product is brohexane. So I never heard of brohexane until I started looking at this bloody list. So you don't know where it's in.
So that's anybody else? Listen, lads, I have to thank you for all coming. Now, also, the vaccine. Listen, lads, people are saying they got some of their members tested and got a lot of abuse. But the rule is, if you refuse your test, you're out. Like if you don't have people verify a pigeon into the garden to verify a pigeon, you're out.
Sorry, should the union actually have a quality mark? I.e., in other words, if a product is safe to use, that the union would actually promote it. I know that, but if a manufacturer says, I have a product here that's safe, I want the union to approve it, and the union says, that's okay, there's our quality mark, you approve that, and then it goes on the shelf with the IHU mark or whatever it is, at least the fancier would know then it's approved by the union.
We do our best. Listen, lads, I said I apologise for Billy Kelly. Never going to close that.
I have a suggestion actually to protect the officials from hassle and blood and so on building up over this. And that is that the clubs themselves adopt the practice of taking the samples of everyone, but to randomly select which one they send on.
Okay, listen, lads, well, wait a moment. Listen, lads, hold on, lads, please. Listen, lads, please. I'm sorry for the pictures of me, but you see the races coming on us. I'd like to thank Paddy, Tom, and Jimmy for coming all the way down Belfast for their time. I think they deserve a round of applause.
Don't bring it over here.
You want.
We've been elected at the last
Listen, we want them to have a boys' club and team. The drug part will be done. The final thing will be done by Shane and by the officer. Okay, Tugger, you want to go on? Tugger, take the head of some action. Okay.
What are you going to say about the vaccine?
The vaccine, do not do, listen lads. I got delivery of 500 doses on, I had to go to the airport on Friday, of the Belgivac. And I think Seamus has, I
don't think he has it yet.
I don't know, many euros.
He went away on Friday.
He gives 500 doses off the 3-in-1 back. But make sure, if you use the 3-in-1, you follow the instructions. That's the only thing.
Make sure you get the leaflet off.
I think he had. I think it's in. I'm not sure. I don't know.
The example I was talking about, it's only
It's meant to be like